Hi friends, I hope your day is off to a great start so far. Today we are going to do a math lesson about size. We're going to read this book and talk a little bit about comparing things by their size and how it can be a little tricky sometimes if you don't know some of these tricks. So the title of this book is called Size, and the author is Henry Pluckrose. The illustrations in this book are photographs. We've seen some books where the illustrations are drawings or paintings or collages, and these illustrations in this book are photos. Let's see what we can find out about comparing things by their size. Do you ever wonder what words mean? This is a toy moose. It is so big that it is hard to carry. Look at the little boy holding this toy moose. It's really, really big compared to his body, but what if a grown-up was holding it? This baby elephant is bigger than the toy moose, but the mother elephant is biggest of them all. In this photo, it looks like the moose is bigger than the elephant. This moose almost looks like it could be the same size as this adult elephant. But is that really the case? Is that really true? We know that elephants are much, much bigger than people. But the distance that the photo is taken from sometimes makes things appear smaller. This is a toy car. How do you know that it is too small to carry people? Let's take a look at this picture. How do you know that this toy car is too small to carry a person? What other things do you see in this picture? I see a paper clip, for example, and I just happen to have a paper clip right here. What do you know about paper clips? Here's a paper clip. It's pretty small. So if I had a car that was just a little bit bigger than a paper clip, would it be big enough to hold people? No, of course not. This car looks as small as the toy car. How can you tell that it is bigger? Well, I noticed that a paper clip is next to this toy car, and what I know about paper clips are they're tiny. Next to this car is a person, and it looks like an adult man. What do you know about adult people? They're surely much bigger than paper clips. So I can tell that this car is bigger than this car, even though in the picture they might be closer to the same size. This is a van. Do you think it is bigger or smaller than a car? This is a double-decker bus. It carries over 50 people. Is it bigger than the car and the van? Is it the biggest vehicle we've seen so far? How many people do you think are inside of this car? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 people? And this bus holds 50 people. So we know that it's bigger than the van. To know the size of things, we need to have something to measure them against or compare them to. These wheels could be any size. How do you know that this wheel is enormous? We have something to compare it to. Is this a grown-up or a child? That's right, it's a kid. It looks like a kid that's about your age. If you were standing next to this wheel, it would be much bigger and taller than you. So we know that it's a very, very, very big wheel. We're not sure about these because we don't really have anything to compare them to in this photo. It's hard to guess how large this model might be. Is it big or is it small? Because again, there's nothing to compare it to in the photo. We know that this dinosaur is very big indeed. How can we tell? What can we compare it to that we know is also large? Trees are usually larger, and it seems very large in comparison to the trees and bushes. These fruits are different sizes. Which is the biggest and which is the smallest? We have a grapefruit, a plum, an orange, an apple, a kiwi, and that kind of reminds me of a spaghetti squash, but I'm not sure what it is. Which one is the biggest and which is the smallest? This one is the biggest and this one is the smallest. Do you think you could put them in order with the biggest first going all the way down to the smallest? These toy bears are not the same size. Which is bigger and which is smaller? We're comparing again. Sometimes we need to arrange things in order of size. These jars are all different sizes. Look on this page. Which one is the biggest? What color liquid is inside? Which is the smallest? That's right, the blue looks like it's the biggest and the red is the smallest. If we put the biggest one first, could you order them so they get smaller and smaller and smaller, just like on this page? Biggest, smaller, 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 smallest. We'll be practicing that in our seesaw activities. We use the words big and small to describe a lot of things. A rabbit is bigger than a hamster. But a dog is bigger than a rabbit. They're both smaller than a pony. The pony is a big animal, but it is smaller than a horse. The words big and small help us compare things with one another. A coat can be too big or too small. Is the girl too big for the coat, or is the coat too small for the girl? The same coat looks very big on this kid, but very small on this girl. Why? What does that tell you about the girl and the boy? That tells me that this girl is bigger than this boy. That's why the coat fits them differently. When we buy shoes, we have to make sure they are the right size for the person who is to wear them. A shoe could be way too big for you, but still be way too small for me. Sometimes we need to make things appear larger so that we can see them more easily. A hornet is a very small creature, but when you enlarge it, it looks like this. They're tools that scientists use to make things look bigger, like magnifying glasses or microscopes. These are raindrops on a leaf. They have also been enlarged or made to look bigger. Sometimes things seem to be smaller than they really are. This airplane looks quite small when it is really high in the sky. but on the ground, it looks much bigger. Depending how close or far away something is, that makes a difference in what size it looks like to our eyeballs. How do you know that this house is big enough for you to live in? And that this house has been built for dolls? What is the biggest thing you can think of? And what is the smallest? The end. Take a moment and think about the biggest thing that you can think of. Is it an elephant? An airplane? A house? Or a skyscraper? What's the smallest thing that you can think of? An ant? A piece of sand? Well, friends, we are going to be talking about comparing and measuring sizes of things over the next few weeks, and I am looking forward to learning with you. Have a great day. Thanks for joining.